Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about how it's going with this perspective learning, and let's go ahead and start the video. I have some talking points about the books that I've been reading to help me or guide me with this perspective journey. I also have some pointers about what I've learned so far about my art skill and what I'm lacking in understanding. One of the pointers that I wanted to bring up about this perspective learning journey is that the self-taught journey is very, very isolating, and sometimes it can feel a little drifting. When you don't have a guide or a teacher to tell you what to learn, you have to figure out of all types of information out there to condense it and organize it when learn. And I've never been a person that's been very organized with schoolwork. I mean, I do follow whatever syllabus was given to me or course instructions. However, when you're on your own and you're trying to learn it on your own terms, in your own time, in your own space, it becomes a little bit more overwhelming because you don't have a specific standard of learning. And so I kind of been looking at different artists who provide tutorials or tips. I've been watching such channels as Mini Monex, Draw Like a Sir, also going through Pinterest, looking at different pins. If I can find some websites, I'll find those. But I don't actually save the website, so I don't know what to reference back to. I'm definitely on Pinterest a lot. I created a notebook for my art projects, as I call it, but it's really just my notes about the information that I've learned about design and art and perspective and anatomy. Those are things that has been actually very helpful, having something written in a notebook because I'm able to reference back to it. With the notebook that I created, I am actually using it reference to and over again, as opposed to going to 5 different books. I think that's going to be very helpful for me. I actually didn't think, or I actually didn't know how I was going to organize it, but I feel like if I can just focus on the important parts of the terminology or the paragraphs that I'm reading, then definitely it can help me to stay focused on what I need to learn. It's not that difficult as I thought it was going to be. I think I got more overwhelmed when I have so many options of what route to take. I have so many art books. Right now, my biggest focus is to get started in the fundamentals, anatomy, figure drawing, or and perspective. Definitely, perspective brings in a lot of discomfort in learning. This learning process that I've been going through on my own, I realized the most important thing is discipline. And when it comes to discipline, to me, the only 3 things I can think of are energy, focus, and time. And when I mean by energy, focus, and time, I mean you have to make time to draw. You have to have a focused time to draw. In other words, no distractions, no interruptions. And 3, you have to have energy. I don't know if this happens to a younger artist or somebody that's learning who's much younger than me, but I'm in my early 40s. I'm 42 years old, so getting into an energy mode has been a little bit hard because I also have a full-time job, and I'm also a mother to small children, and I'm also a wife, and so I have also home responsibilities. There's just a lot of stuff going on with me, and my energy is very limited depending on the time of day. And also, it's very limited because I already have so many obligations that I need to tend to. And when it comes down to art, it's definitely been a struggle to have that discipline because I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, and I definitely don't have the focus. It's been a little bit hard, but I'm giving myself a lot of grace because I want to be able to master it eventually. I'm still trying to find my way around it. Lately, I've been going back to remote work, so I will definitely have a little bit more energy. I'll have some kind of normalcy back because it was really helpful to have that kind of time where I'm not commuting for hours. I noticed that with anything that you are self teaching, you definitely have to have a lot of self discipline. Self discipline to me means having the energy, the focus, and the time. And that also brings me to another point that kind of goes along with discipline is consistency. Um, it's been a challenge to be consistent, not gonna lie. The lack of energy that I have in order to provide to my skill building, my craftsmanship has been very poor. I'm not gonna lie. It's been very poor because I have so many obligations that I have to take care of, and finding the time and energy to do it has been a little bit of a struggle to figure out when is the best time for me to do this work. And I'm actually starting to feel that because I'm a morning person that I might have to start creating during the early morning hours. So definitely my time is going to change because there's going to be days when I don't have to commute to the office for my day job. But I'm definitely looking forward to being able to make something for myself without interruptions. It's been very, very hard to keep that consistency when I'm tired. And I'm not the person that follows the draw every day type of motto. I don't do that. Um, I'm gonna be honest, like making art is work. Making things is work. It does take a lot of effort and energy out of you. I mean, you're spending time physically to create something. So I don't take that very lightly. Um, there's been days that I've had pushed myself to scrabble something here and there. But I feel like it wasn't my best work. And I don't know why I think I need to be making my best work because I don't think I have to. However, I don't want to use that as an excuse either, because at the end of the day, I do spend time creating other things. I call them my distractions. Those distractions are reading books, doing my reading journal, which I draw in, taking time to test out my markers, all of my supplies that I've collected for over the last 2 years. I'm really trying to use them all. So I have several sketchbooks that I draw things that have nothing related to my learning skills that I'm trying to obtain right now. My craftsmanship really is just going to start at the basis, which is the foundation of anatomy, perspective, line drawing. And there's a lot of stuff that I want to also learn with the technical side of things, especially from the book, How to Draw. There's a lot of technical terminology that I'm not familiar with that I still don't quite understand. So I'm definitely taking my time with that. Along with these challenges comes doubts. And in my doubts, when I'm creating these exercises, as I call them, of learning to line draw, learning to do curves, ellipses, learning about horizons and vantage points and planes and cone vision. I understand it, but then I have a lot of doubts. Maybe I'm not getting things exactly how they should be. I feel like there's a lot of lack of understanding on my part. And I feel like those are the things that I'm probably going to have to spend more time on. I don't feel like I understand it. And of course, I'm self teaching. I don't have somebody questioning me or giving me a test to see whether I'm passing or not. I don't have any artist friends. I don't know any artists that can give me guidance. I'm not taking any classes where somebody is grading me in order to see if I'm mastering something or not. So I will say that the reason why I also decided to self teach was because I don't want any outside influence yet. I want to do it on my own in the sense that I can feel like I'm genuinely myself. And then once I'm out there and share my work, real artists, as I call them, then maybe I can get some feedback. Because I think when we do things on our own, we definitely stay in our own zone and we get that comfort. And when we decide to share something, we throw ourselves in that discomfort. And that's not something that I'm ready for right now, even though I'm showing it to you here on YouTube. When you look at my work, you will see that I actually, how can I put this? You will see that I actually do a lot of repetitive things. And I noticed this with being self taught is that I don't have like a deadline. What kind of put myself the whole entire year that I should definitely take on perspective and human figure drawing or gesture drawing, anatomy. Um, of course, everything has like details that I'm just really trying to get the basis first, and then I can go further into the details. I started those, and yes, I've been doing them. However, I will say that the books that I'm using give me a kind of a guide. I usually follow it chapter by chapter. I don't try to look for too many books. So I'm going to show you guys the books that I'm using right now that are helping me to get into this self-learning skills. The first book that I recommend that has been very helpful, and mostly there is some exercises on here and examples, and it's a really old book, but it's always been published continuously since 1930 something, I believe. It's the book Perspective Made Easy by Ernest R. Norling. This is a very small book. I tend to carry this one around, especially when I go to work. Whenever I'm on my break or when I'm at lunch, I look over this book. I make little tab notes, and I definitely find this very, very useful and simple. The second book that I'm learning from is How to Draw, Drawing and Sketching Objects and Environments from Your Imagination by Scott Robertson with Thomas Bertling. This one is very technical. It's totally beyond my comprehension, but I feel like I like it because it's a challenge. And this one, it has exercises that you can do as well. I've definitely been doing a lot of line drawing. It's all about building confidence in line. My confidence has gotten a little bit better the more I keep repeating lines, but am I doing them right? I'm not really sure. That's probably why I have doubts about it. Because I don't have feedback yet from any external source. In the meantime, I will still continue to learn from this book. It's been very helpful, and I highly recommend this one. The third book is a digital book. It's a book called How to Draw in Perspective by Mitch Louie. It says you'll learn the principles of perspective drawing and how to apply them. I found this book to be a lot more simple than Scott Robertson's book. It's a fun one. I learned some of his techniques without a lot of words. It's mostly examples rather than too much words. I'm okay with everything because I think having a different perspective from all of them has been very, very helpful. And the fourth book, which is not really a perspective book, but it's a book that I'm putting in my art learning journal, is a textbook from my husband's college days. It's called Design Principles and Problems by Paul Zelansky and Mary Pat Fisher. This book is about learning the fundamentals of design. It's kind of rough for me to go back into learning textbooks from college, but I'm giving it a chance. And like I said, I'm taking things in slowly because I feel like the more I try to push myself, the more I stubborn I become. And I don't allow myself to be open to learning. Not too long ago, I believe it was earlier last week, I came across a Harvard Business Review article and I found it to be very helpful. It was basically an article about how learning new things can be hard. And I liked what the writer stated on there, and so I'm going to read some of his quotes that really caught my attention about learning. Here's the thing: while the act of learning is primarily intellectual, behavioral, or methodological, the experience of learning is primarily emotional. And it's the emotional experience of learning, of being a beginner and making mistakes, often publicly, that often keeps people from even trying to learn. So, what can we do to make it a little easier? First, know that it's brave to be a beginner. Understand that it takes courage and vulnerability to expose your weaknesses and to try new things. Then look for learning situations where the stakes are low. Maybe a class where you're not expected to be an expert or you don't know anyone else. Admit out loud to the rest of the workshop if it makes you feel better that you are going to take some risks to approach something in a new way. Be the first to raise your hand and try something, letting others know that you may flub it. And feel everything. That's what I call emotional courage. If you are willing to feel everything, embarrassment, shame, failure, awkwardness, then you can do anything. And whatever you do, don't stop learning. Go to workshops, push yourself, especially in the areas where you are already accomplished, so you can get even better. Keep thinking of yourself as a learner. Take risks to try new things. That's what I really liked about that quote or that passage from his article. And I believe that's exactly what's going on with me. I'm going through so much discomfort in not just self teaching, but also making things that I'm not comfortable with. But I know where I want to go, I know where I want to get to. It's just a really long journey. And I notice things about myself emotionally that I've never been very patient. I like to be easily distracted. And I'm very selective with my energy. But the specific experience, whether it's this channel or learning new things for myself and showing you, I'm basically showing you my vulnerabilities. And it's scary because I'm putting myself out there. My privacy is out there. It's no longer private because I'm sharing with you a lot of parts of myself. But I feel like as a human, communicating to you through this visual diary or visual documentary that I create on YouTube, it gives me a different perspective of that. A lot of us are not alone in that we need the community, in whatever way we can have it, whether in person, online. I feel like it's always needed. So for now, I'm learning and I'm showing you the things that I'm learning, and there's a lot of discomfort for sure, but that's just how it's going to be for a pretty long time until I feel like I'm more comfortable. I'm more of an expert, but I'm not there. That's all for today. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great, great, great day or a great, great, great night. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.